Welcome back to Straight Talk. We've been having this really a lively discussion. We're talking about the tobacco industry, of course, and one
We're
of those
talking about the regulation
of the tobacco
industry.
Excuse me. I stand
specific
corrected.
here.
No, it is. It's an important distinction about the regulation and how that comes about and who it is. And the reason that I say this is about the Mohawk Council being the regulating body is because it goes back to the 10 agreements, goes back to the one agreement that was never up till now been able to implement was regulation over the tobacco industry, and at that time wasn't even this industry. Self-regulation hasn't seemed to work, and so now elements of the industry have met with council to look at setting up. So really the question is, is what's involved with the regulation? Who will come on side? What does the community feel about it? And how should the benefit be played out? Because Gus Guy did raise that in the press release prior to her being named to the portfolio, is that because this is part of the collective right, then the community has to see a benefit from it. In what way is that? I mean, because some people would say, well, yeah, but there have been jobs. That's a benefit. Lots of
and there's a lot of individuals in the industry that have been donating to many things, and probably, I would say millions of dollars.
Millions,
over the years.
actually not, yeah, millions.
Millions of dollars.
Just with
the communities benefit from, yeah.
Whatever. But the thing is how will that be channeled then? To what? And this gets back to the revenue question. Is the government, I suspect, would say, you know what, because their issue on a lot of levels is about price parity in terms of the Kahnawake or Native communities competing with the outside industries. That whole $1 billion lawsuit against Native tobacco launched by Big Tobacco is really about loss of revenues.
But I mean, if you looked at it in the past, the Tobacco Association had created, I guess, a sticker for the cigarettes, and I think it was, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 cents per sticker that you purchased, and you put it on all your products, and the manufacturers were putting them right at the manufacturer, so that revenue was going to the KTA, and the KTA was dispersing that through donations and stuff like that. So that was one way that years ago that they used to do it. But like everything else, you know, unfortunately, because there's no regulations, some people did, some people didn't, and there's the thing about regulations is that I just want to say this. The thing about regulations is it's, you can write regulations for everybody. The problem becomes, and I say this about all the laws, is the enforcement. Who enforces it? Under what law are they enforcing it? And what are the what ifs? Because
if somebody goes outside of those regulations,
I look at
or
the what ifs.
disagrees with those regulations, what are you going to do?
I look at the what ifs all the time.
You could then extrapolate from that is that even the Mohawk Council right now, so they said, well, the tobacco industry is deemed to be legal in the community. Therefore, the PKs don't act on that directly. Okay, so now, in order to have an agreement with an outside government about a regulation about tobacco, which allows for enforcement, okay, of the regulations in terms of pricing, so on and so forth, then what do you have to agree with those outside governments?
But then
you have to function underneath that.
Yeah, you have. That's the only way you can do it, and then you have to have a regulatory body that answers to somebody. By even if it's just reporting, it has to be reported to somebody on the outside, or it has to be available for auditing. Anyway, that's something else again that we have to.
But again, just to add to that, there was a letter in this week's Eastern Door, was written by Carla Hemlock about conversation she had with a presenter that was at the conference last week at the Survival School, which was about the UN Declaration and about where things are going since the White Paper in 1969 and how those things are being played out to this day, and about the things that are coming down the pike in the next couple of years.
How does that relate to the tobacco industry?
Well, no, it relates to everything, Mike. It relates to where land is.
You threw me off there.
Yeah, no, I'm just suggesting people read the letter in the paper and connect the dots. It's all.
So getting back to the
regulations, regulating to the tobacco industry. Community members who do wish to have input all right,
Yeah.
are asked to contact Trina C. Daibo at the MCK office, 632-7500, extension 2278.
Or they can, I would say try to contact some of those individuals that are in the industry. You can mention them because they've been out anyway.
Okay, that was John McCumber, Brian Delormier, Robbie Dixon, Mitchell Horn, Peter Thomas, and Lionel Diller Jr. Those are the ones that were at the meeting.
So maybe you can give
And
some.
Gus Skydeer is the.
So you can give some information to them if you don't want to contact the Mohawk Council. And we're going to do like we do every week. We did have a question in regards to the casino, and the question of the week on our website, mohawktv.ca. Go there and vote. It's the question is, do you think that the tobacco industry should be regulated? And go there and let us know what your opinion is, and we'll read what that is
Next
at our next show. And I think our next show is in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So that's when we'll have an answer for that.
So that's about it then for this show. I think we're going to be celebrating, well, I don't want to say celebrating, it's funny kind of thing when you think about Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is
Pilgrims and turkeys and...
I mean, you know what? I guess because of the Catholic influence in our community, it's always been, people. It's Thanksgiving Day, and you're going to make your turkey dinner and everything else like that. I mean, some people celebrate the Canadian, others celebrate the American. Some do both. Monday the 10th is Thanksgiving Day
in Canada.
And yeah, in Canada. So everybody looks at it differently,
This correlates to Columbus Day in the United States.
Yeah, so it's just like that. And I have a friend who lives in Mass, and he's a native, I guess in Mi'kmaq or something. I forget exactly what it is. And he just recently came out with a book about their tribe there, and part of it was because they had interaction with the Pilgrims, the Tea Party and stuff like that. And he wrote a book about it, about I guess their history, but they look at it a little bit differently. I think that maybe Mohawks, we look at things, I guess politically a lot
All the time.
and it seems like other tribes, I guess I don't know what they encompass it. You know what I mean? They go with it. So I guess it's part of their heritage, and they just accept what is the, I guess, history had done.
I mean, I don't know really. Nowadays, people have just Thanksgiving, Christmas. I have nothing to do with any of
just
those
say
things.
holidays.
It's an excuse to have turkey.
It's a day off for me.
It's a day off, an excuse
day
to
off,
have
okay?
turkey. Have the family
and it's
over.
also the fall. All right, so there's the harvest celebrations. For us, I think those are a little bit more meaningful.
Yeah.
Because
So that's what we, yeah.
Thanksgiving's
because of our
supposed to be
connection to
every
the
day,
land.
not about.
Brother.
Regardless of whether you're going to celebrate Thanksgiving or you're going to or to celebrate the harvest at the various different longhouses, they have their celebrations on one weekend or one then the other. I think that they try to split them because some people may go to both. The schools are doing it, so it's just that time of the year to, I guess, give thanks to the season and the crops. And there's a lot of people who start planting now in their yards
For next year?
For next year, well, not for this year. They've just gotten their crops together, and I know that some people are right now are even canning, and they're selling some of the stuff that they're canning.
Yeah.
There's the harvest fair is coming up in the near future.
I think the end of October.
So the end of October, and then Halloween's coming up. Our next
and all
show,
those pumpkins and
our next show, or before the end of the month, we'll talk
Be
about
shoveling snow.
no.
Don't go there. I don't want to.
I guess
Right.
summer's over. That's the
Yeah.
point.
And apple picking. A lot of people are apple picking.
Apple picking too, and
Harvesting and getting their stuff ready for next year already.
Right.
getting all your summer stuff and start putting it away.
I'm not ready for that yet.
It's funny because they were supposed to close my pool and they missed closing it, so they're going to do it this week. But they closed my hot tub first, and the hot tub's heated, my pool's not. So they should have reversed that somehow.
Yeah. All right, so
Well, that's another show and another wrap up. It's been fun. More issues, and there'll be more.
lots of discussion.
Remember, if you want to be a guest on our show, you're welcome. Just give us a call at Mohawk TV at 450-632-6397 or email us at mohawktv.ca or go to our website and take the poll. So thank you again for coming. Nyawa and Onigiwai.
Wanna?
Oh, no.
Kanya ke haga thadi adaraste kayerniga hiadu zewaderoru.
Yaha